I don't know if it's good to have like background music in my video. I've tried that. I've tried doing that before, and it just doesn't work because of like copyright, but also it's just kind of distracting to the listeners. But to me, I feel like it feels less awkward when I speak, so it helps me. But I don't think it's a great idea, so I'm not gonna do it. But yeah, it's nice for a little bit. It is Saturday, February 14th. It is Valentine's Day. So happy Valentine's to those who celebrate. Today I just want to, make a short little video. I don't know how long this is going to be. I honestly don't want to make it too long because I'm realizing like sometimes I talk too much, bro, and I say shit that just doesn't need to be said. Like I'm talking and talking and talking, and it's like, what's the point? Like what am I even saying? So I'm gonna try to make this short. I don't know why I'm so like what's it called? I'm so interested or like attracted to topics about like self-help, but in a way that is like, let us take care of ourselves. And just like, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of what my videos are about. Just giving advice about things that I've learned and things that I try to apply to myself and to my life, to make my life a little bit better. Today I want to give like a little bit of like tips here and there about how to make ourselves feel more okay, especially in moments of like crisis, you know? Sometimes things happen to us and make us feel really, really sad or angry or frustrated, and we think that all the doors around us are closing in and that there's no way of getting out of this thing, and we don't know how to calm down and control our emotions, or we don't know how to like feel okay. Things like that, we all experience those. And sometimes it feels like your life is actually great, like it's stable and you have a routine and you have great friends and you have great everything, but you still feel like a little bit shit deep down. And you're like, what's wrong, And you don't even know how to like understand yourself. You don't even know how to get out of it. You don't even know how to fix whatever's inside, And it's like, sometimes that's all you want. That's all you really want, is just to feel okay, and you don't know where to start. You don't know how to make yourself feel okay. And of course it doesn't happen overnight, but I feel like lately I've been trying to sit down and write down on a piece of paper, what are the things that make me feel okay? What do I want to make myself feel better, And I feel like step number one is sometimes making the time to sit with yourself, even when you have an insanely busy schedule. And I don't mean sit with yourself as in like you come back home at night after you've done all that you're supposed to do, and you have this time for yourself at night, and that is when you're gonna sit with yourself. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about the time that you have already. I'm saying move things around in your routine, as in like maybe, don't go to class for a day, or don't go to your job for a day, or whatever. And maybe this is terrible advice, but it has worked with me. But this is not something that should be done frequently. This is not something that should become a routine or become a habit or become normal. This is something that you do once, maybe once every few months even. Like, I don't even know. Doing it in a healthy way, not in a way where it's like I'm not gonna go and do anything. I'm gonna sit at home and be by myself. I'm not saying that's what you should do. I'm saying take a day off, change your routine, make time for yourself that day. Take yourself out on a date. I always say this. I've probably said this in most of my videos. What that means is making it an activity to sit with yourself and just think. You can either have music, not have music. And you're not sitting with yourself to do work. You're not sitting with yourself to do your assignments or whatever it is you need to do, send emails. You're sitting with yourself to be with yourself. And step number 2 is something called a self-check-in. So I'm in an acting class this semester. I absolutely don't need to be in an acting class for my major, but I chose to be in an acting class because I wanted to explore something so different from what I do. And acting seems so like fun and interesting. And it has been like my favorite thing this semester. Like I cannot express enough how much I've been enjoying it. But anyway, in this acting class, every single like session in the beginning of the class, in the first like 20 minutes, we all sit in like a circle, and everybody goes in like in turn and says how they feel in this specific moment. And we have rules for this. We don't interrupt each other. We don't respond to each other. We just sit there and we listen as each person goes. And after each person goes, we do little snaps. And it's so nice. Like, it's just so beautiful. Sometimes by the end of it, we kind of respond to each other. We give our, like, we say, like, oh, like, I don't know. But you know what I mean? Like, we have a little bit of conversation by the end of the whole thing. But what's so beautiful is that everybody's just sitting there listening. You know, the act of talking and somebody listening and not talking back, that sometimes is so therapeutic. So I mentioned this because when you take yourself out on a date, you want to check in on yourself. That is the main intention of taking yourself out on a date. So what you do is you sit there, maybe you pull out a piece of paper and a pen, maybe take out a journal, maybe type it in your notes app. Some people like to have it digital, whatever. Or maybe record a little audio, whatever it is. Talk to yourself, you know, how do I feel? What's making me feel this way? What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. And so many people might feel like that is so stupid. Like, why would I do that? Because the most important relationship you can have is the relationship with yourself. And we forget that so much. We don't realize that we haven't checked in on ourselves in so long. You know, we don't take care of ourselves the way that we take care of our loved ones. So sometimes we just need to remind ourselves it's okay to sit with ourselves and ask ourselves how we are. Do it for at least 10 minutes if that's all the time that you have, but I would recommend, because I do it for like hours, but yeah, I would recommend at least an hour. But if all you have is 10 minutes, do it for 10 minutes. That can be enough. I record myself talking to myself. I record videos of myself talking to myself, like different than this, things that are like my own, for my own like diary, personal diary, whatever. And looking back at those is also really important because you learn things about yourself. It's called the act of self-reflection. And you will realize that you become much more self-aware. I am this way because of this. I am this way because of this. Blah, blah, blah. And self-awareness is important because it helps you notice patterns in yourself and avoid when things make you feel a certain way and do things when they make you feel a good way. So it's like, it's all like you just trying to study yourself, yeah? And it's very important. Another thing is create your own fun. Now, what I mean by this is doing things without expecting anything in return, but solely for your own sake, like for the sake of enjoyment and fun. Now, this can very easily mean things that are unhealthy for you, but I would advise you to do things that are healthy for you, that make you have fun or make you happy. You know, like smoking a cigarette can make somebody happy, but that is probably not good for you. So I'm not talking about that kind of thing. I'm talking more like find something that will bring you some kind of joy. If you like a certain sport, go and play that sport. If you haven't, like played soccer in a really long time, and you, as a kid, you used to really enjoy soccer, go and give it a chance. I don't know. Try to find somebody to play soccer with, or basketball, or whatever. Like, look for it, create it. I feel like I'm pretty good at this thing where I'm able to fill my time with things that bring me joy. Like, I'm able to create a goal for myself. Like, whenever I'm in winter break or summer, and I have no assignments and nothing, I always find something to do that is really fun for me. For example, I tell myself I want to write like a fiction story, like a short story, and I make that my goal. So for that whole winter break, I'm just working on this story, and I'm creating these characters, and I don't know, something to keep you busy a little bit. And even if you feel like you're bad at it and you're not doing a great job, try to genuinely take it so seriously. Like, make it your goal to make it good. This was the intention of this YouTube channel, is like, I want something not for grades, not for, money, not for, a job or, whatever, an organization. This YouTube channel is just for myself, but also I hope to find some kind of community in return. I hope that people can look at this and feel like they are not alone, feel like they relate to something. That is kind of often the intention of art in general. So, creating something is always fun. A piece of drawing, sharing it to people. A piece of drawing, that sounds so wrong. A drawing or a painting. Maybe it's your passion to make videos, but you've never given it a shot. Me. I've always wanted to create short films, but I've always been so scared because I don't know where to start. I don't know how to start. But I really do want to. So I'll give you a little bit of advice on how to start something that you feel so afraid of, because that's also something that I've been thinking about. But yeah, it's like, ask yourself, what is something that like I really would like to try out? Going to a yoga class, just, not really expecting anything in return, just for your own well-being. So I discovered this thing that I don't know, I feel like helped me. It's a new prompt for journaling. So I'm gonna pull it up on my laptop actually, because I was looking at this earlier. So ask yourself, what is it that I would like to do, for example, like something that I've always wanted to do but I never tried. So let's say for me it's creating short films. So I sat there and I said, I want to make photographs and make short films. And then I asked myself, okay, what's stopping you? I said, I don't have a good enough camera to produce good quality shit. I said, and then I asked myself, have you looked at which camera you want to invest in, or which mic? And then I left it blank because the answer is no. So that is step number one. Go do your research. What kind of camera, what kind of mic do you want to buy? And then you want to look at how much it's going to cost you. And then in my case, you're going to realize you don't have the money for it. Okay, how am I going to make the money for it? So it's a procedure of these steps, and once you sit down and ask yourself these questions, that is getting you one step closer to your goal. That is you doing something about it. It's not just like floating in the air. It's an idea floating in the air that you've never even tried to see how it's gonna work. So that is some major advice right there, because I never did this. I was just sitting there and I was like, what's stopping me from doing this? And I don't know, something about writing it down, like solidifying it, just makes it more real. So that is why it's really important to put it on paper somewhere, or like on a Google Doc or whatever. Yeah. Another way of creating your fun is looking for a community, you know, looking for clubs, joining clubs, meeting new, like making an effort to meet new people. It's really scary out there, you know, especially people who have social anxiety, especially people who like to stay in their little bubble. It's scary as hell. But there's so much good in it, you know, and you have to be okay with the feeling of embarrassment. You know, sometimes you feel embarrassed to go up to people and talk to them and introduce yourself to them. It feels like embarrassing, you know, like what the hell is this person doing? Why are they talking to me right now? But you have to embrace that. You have to embrace that you're just a shy person or an awkward person who doesn't know how to speak sometimes. If you have a stutter, fucking embrace that stutter, bro. What's the worst that could happen? That they judge you or they laugh at you or they reject you? Great. Move that. At least you tried, you know? And from that you can move forward. So yeah, you have to put in that effort. Another advice is that letting yourself sit with that feeling of sadness or that feeling of boredom. A lot of the time we tend to distract ourselves with very unhealthy things in hopes of running away from a feeling that we don't like. I tend to do this a lot. I think a lot of people do that. But I think once you practice how to sit with that feeling, that is when you've mastered emotional stability. And I feel like the end goal is not happiness, the end goal is emotional stability. Also, you have to realize that you are really not the only one. And a lot of the times it takes having a conversation with a friend or another person to realize. My phone ran out of storage. But yes, you are not the only one. And sometimes knowing that you are not the only one really, really does help. Yeah. Sometimes you feel so not okay that you isolate yourself and you don't talk to anyone. But as soon as you talk to a friend, you will realize how much, I don't know, how much better that has made you feel. So just remind yourself that sometimes all it takes is talking to another person, putting those words out there, opening up to another person. That has been something so like rewarding for me. It's okay to be vulnerable to other people. We're all in this together at the end of the day. We're all trying our best. Sometimes we fall short. Sometimes we make decisions that take us into bad places and we find it hard to forgive ourselves. But at the end of the day, we need to forgive ourselves and we need to have grace. I love this TikTok. I don't know like where it is right now, but it's something like, at some point you have to give yourself grace. It's called a cul-de-sac, something like that. I don't know, something along those lines. And I love this line by Anthony Bourdain. You're probably gonna find out anyway. So here's a little preemptive truth telling. There is no happy ending. And on that note, I'm gonna end this video because I'm running out of storage. Thank you all for watching and goodbye.